called Posh Acquisitions. We are, I do buy and hold. I'm a buy and hold real estate investor, and we do fix and flips. I would say, I told Nick one day that I would like to speak at his event, and I guess a speaker fell through, and he took me up on that offer, and this is like pretty crazy, but anyway. Manifested it real quick, right? So, as far as myself, I'm a dad. I'm a girl dad. I love being a girl dad. I love the beach. I hate the cold weather. I don't know why I live in the Northeast, but that's where I live, you know what I mean? Anyway, my portfolio is comprised of 8 units. So 4 buildings spread over 8 units, and then we're in the process of doing a redevelopment project, which is 55-unit redevelopment project in the city of Reading. One of my goals was coming here today was to connect with the guy that was supposed to be in this spot that spoke earlier today, named Ryan Spack, who has multiple redevelopment projects and has been doing it for a long time. And I'm trying to kind of get to his level, so that's what I wanted to kind of get to him for. But just a show of hands so I understand the room a little bit. Who has real estate right now? Who has rental properties? Okay. Keep them up. 1 unit, 5 unit, 6 units, 7 units. Okay, so kind of 6 units. How many units do you have right now, sir? 12? Okay, so is 12 units like the most units here in this room? Okay, awesome. So we're all kind of like right at the same level, you know what I mean? So that entry level, some people got the 1, some people got 2, up to 12, and that's awesome. It's a great place to be, you know what I mean? Where I found myself this past year was trying to figure out, okay, really, where do I want to take it to the next level? Because real estate has a lot of things going on in it. You could wholesale, you could, you can do the buy and hold, you could do the flip. You can get into large multifamily, land. Everybody was talking storage there for a crazy minute. And I hate storage, you know what I mean? It wasn't, something I didn't want to get into. But I think the main thing that I found out through the years is really kind of staying focused on something and really driving deep on that one thing. I mean, I definitely felt subject to kind of shiny object syndrome, where I would be like, oh shit, we can go over here and do this deal, we can go do that. I picked up really something big over in the other session that I went to, and he kind of talked about just like staying focused on where you're at, and the holding cost will kill you. I wanted to learn land, but the problem with land is it takes a while to develop it, and it took me 12 months for my first deal to develop my first land deal, and I had to kind of pay those holding costs. So for me, it was like kind of recognizing where I'm at and making sure I build out income for that, where I'm at. So for me, right now I'm solely focused on flips, and that's what I do. I have no W-2 job. I'm solely in real estate. Prior to that, I had a restaurant, and that was my cash flow, but right now I just focused on flips. So, in this room right now, is anybody else focused on flips? Okay, awesome. Anybody else wants to get into flips? You want to get into flips? Okay. So, what are some of your main concerns about getting into flips? You guys got any questions about flips? No questions? Go ahead. I'm sorry? Running the numbers on the rehab, that's a great question. That's the like scariest thing on the rehab. My suggestion to you is, and a lot of people say, connect with some contractors. The problem with running flips for me in the beginning was, kind of trying to understand the numbers. I knew how to figure out the ARV, that was kind of easy, right? And then it was like, okay, well, how much is this thing going to cost me to rehab it? And do the numbers work? And for me, it wasn't until after I did a couple of projects that I was understanding, like, okay, cool, I can get a kitchen done with, between $12,000 and $15,000. I can do a bathroom with, $5,000 if it's a full, rib out. So it took a while, and those numbers will come to you. And I know it's like a shitty answer, but it's like you got to get in there and get experience. So if you're not running a current project, then attach yourself to someone that is doing a flip project so you can start asking those questions. Or connect with other contractors and say, hey, How much would it cost me to do this? But you got to realize, not all contractors are flip contractors. You know what I mean? Some of them are just like more your high end. And it's kind of weird because when you talk to some contractors and you're like, hey, do you work with investors? They're going to be like, well, what does that mean? You mean you just want to like everything super cheap from me? You're like, no, like I want to be able to work with a consistent contractor that I can give multiple projects to in a year who's going to maybe give me a better on price. You know what I mean? That's how it works, right? The more work you can give someone, the better you can get on the price. Next question.
That's what I'm trying to find, good contractors.
Good contractors, honestly,
That's hard.
you can't, it's very hard. And you can't get afraid. You can't be afraid to get burnt. You know, I mean, I don't want to say you can't be afraid to get burnt, but I'm saying you're not going to make every decision in this game. You're not going to make the perfect decision every single time. But if you don't get slapped in the face a couple times, you're not going to learn. So, the best way to find some good contractors is get with other investors that are already doing deals. Go to meetups. Do you know the app Meetup? Okay. Go to other meetups and ask other investors, hey, who do you know that does this? Who do you know that does that? Your best way to find contractors is talk to other investors that are doing what you want to be doing and find out who they want to use. Now, the shitty part of that is sometimes other investors don't want to give up their contact. No, I'm not giving you my plumber. I'm not giving you, because when it's time for them to call them,
And they're not there.
they're not, I'm busy. I'm on Joey's job. You know what I mean? So that's the tough part about it. So you gotta, gotta slide in there and sometimes ask them. You know what I mean? Or one thing that I do, because I want to learn other bigger constructions, I go to actual job sites and I take pictures of all the the electrician's van, the plumber's van, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Good idea.
Ma'am?
Do you think it's better to have a general contractor or a contractor that specializes in electricity and plumbing and something else?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, it's a great question, right? So as you build yourself, because I'm a construction guy, I kind of GC all my own projects. So it's a slightly tough question for me to answer. But I'm getting to a point where I want to bring on a property manager. He's sitting right over here, Michael Brown. And I want to get to the point where I can stay in the office and find the deals. And Mike's the one yelling at all the contractors and making sure everybody's showing up and all that. So honestly, for you in the beginning, if you haven't done a deal yet, or you're just starting out, I personally think you should. There's benefits to both. The benefit of you being the GC is you get to see all the trades and you get to see all the things going on, and you learn a lot. The other part of hiring a GC is you're bringing in someone that kind of knows all this stuff and knows how to yell and talk to all the contractors. You know what I mean? So there's kind of like a benefit to both. So maybe in the beginning, sometimes we get so hard up in like trying to get like the most profit. And for me, I was okay with sacrificing profit if I was going to learn. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? And that goes back to my gentleman's question here. When you connect with other real estate investors that are doing what you want to be doing, you're going to learn from them. And ask them, hey, can I go to your job site? I know meetups too. I see sometimes it says active job site meetup. And sometimes they're having meetups on flips. So look out. Do you know the app Meetup? Yeah, write it down. Meetup, and then go in there. You can find crocheting clubs, all kinds of shit on this thing. Meetup. Yeah, that's why. My man in the back. No, you didn't have a question. You. Yes.
What are the two key factors of a great deal?
Two key factors of a great deal? Two key factors of a great deal. I know for me, the numbers need to work. I just got out in a conversation with my young lady right here. She's emotionally wrapped up in the deal. And it's very hard when you're emotionally wrapped up in the deal. If the numbers don't work, the numbers don't work. Honestly, it's numbers and numbers. That's the key factor. You know what I mean? We can't make shit happen. There's times where I've taken deals I got this one guy, Brandon Speaks, I shouldn't be name dropping like that, but I brought him a deal, I show him my spreadsheet, and I'll give you guys my contact. I got a great spreadsheet to run flip numbers on, to analyze deals. But he was like, well, if we just move the ARV to 320, then this deal works. No, we can't fucking move the ARV. Like, you just can't make shit happen. The market is going to sell the deal for what it can sell for. You know what I mean? And mean? Like, you gotta know your market and know your numbers. And, you know, like, I love her story and I love what she brought to me, and I wanted to be like, hey, I'll look at any deal, because that's usually what I say, but I have to know my limits. I don't know the city of Philadelphia. I'm in Reading, Pennsylvania, I'm in Pottstown, I'm in Allentown. That's where I'm at, you know what I mean? I know those markets. Know your markets and stay in your markets. I'm not saying don't stretch yourself, but, you know, realize where you're at, understand your market, you know what I mean? And understand the variables in that market. I'm sorry, hold on a second. And another thing too is, I see sometimes new people, they want to get involved in deals and they want to get a deal so bad, sometimes they'll get involved in rehabs that they have no business fucking touching. I'm sorry, we can't curse, I don't know the rules, they didn't tell me the rules. But do not get involved in rehabs that are just like way too big, because I know sometimes there's deals sitting on the market, and a newbie, I'll see a newbie like, oh, this deal's been sitting there, I'm gonna grab it. Yeah, it's been sitting there because all the other experienced investors passed on it because it's a shitty deal, you know what I mean? So when you're buying a really crappy deal, make sure you're buying it at that right price, but if it's way past your rehab, like I seen like half a home's ripped off, and I'm like, no, that's not a rehab for me. If I can't be out of it within 3 to 4 months, or 4 to 6 months, I don't want it. Yes, sir.
So the two questions, like how many deals do you have going on at once, and how do you keep your deal flow going so you have stuff?
Great question. He asked, how many deals do I have going on right now, and how do I keep more deals in my pipeline? The answer to that question, I have 2 deals going on right now. We're in the process, well, technically 3, but one of them is a long-term redevelopment project that's going to be going on for a while, and the other one, and the other 2 are two are smaller rehabs. One of them I did a lease back. That's where I bought a property from an old gentleman who the house was filled with stuff, and he said, in order for me to get the deal done, I wanted to sign the paperwork. I said I did a lease back to him. So that means I bought the property, it's in my name, and then I rented the property, but in the lease I made it a 4-month lease, and 3 months with an option for 1 month. And he's paying me $1,000 a month while he's there. So it's covering all my hard money expense. It's covering all my like insurance and all my holding costs. We call them holding costs. So all my insurance, all that kind of stuff. And how do I keep deals coming? Great question. So that's why my man Mikey came involved. So Mikey, I realized I spent too much time on the deals, and that's my office work starts lacking. So I needed to be out there marketing. So if you're not consistently out there marketing, it's tough because more deals are going to come. And that's a scary place to be, because you're like, yo, Chris, I only got enough money so I can do 1 deal right now. I can do 1 deal. Well, that's why it's important to network with other real estate investors. That way you could be like, listen, I found this deal. I'm wrapped up in another deal right now. Mikey, do you want to take this deal? Throw me $5,000, you know what I mean? And you kind of like wholesale the deal to him, but it's just an agreement between you and him as a friend, you know? Like I said, I'm not a wholesaler, but
You do cold calling yourself?
So I do cold calls. So I do what is called probates. That means I call people, someone died, and then there's a piece of real estate. So in the state of Pennsylvania, that's my alarm to play with my daughter. I need a reminder. I get busy. I got 2 alarms that go off every day. One for gratitude and one for, was that my 20 minutes? I got to get that long? So I do probates. He asked me if I do once calls. I do probates. I'm calling families. Someone just died, and there's a piece of real estate attached to their estate, and I'm calling to see if they want to sell me the real estate. These are tough phone calls sometimes. So yes, I am making those calls personally, just because it's a touchy situation. Now, first, before